Hey there. So this message is for a young man that wrote to me initially in his teens, and it's good timing for this video because when he wrote to me initially, it was because things were a little stuck and he needed to get unstuck. And I gave some suggestions that are born of the Path of Wildness philosophy that as it stood when I was in Japan, which back then the Path of Wildness was all about getting out of stuck situations, where really more cases where anxiety kept you from moving forward in the direction you wanted to go, and it was a way of making some motion out of there. The Path of Wildness has changed a lot since I've come back to America, and in fact it doesn't even include that component anymore. And I was just thinking this morning how I need to bring that back in, because that is an important piece. So it's interesting, good timing with this question. He wrote to me saying that he's some years on from his teenage years, and he's made some good progress, did a few things. I'm going to keep details out, but now now he has some ready to embark on some big things in his life, and feeling a little anxious. And the key word that he used was he used it several times in the email, was the word empty. And that word ties very nicely to something that I call the great indifference. So the emptiness that you're feeling right now is the perception that you have that the universe is basically devoid of purpose or love or caring or even giving a damn at all about us outside of the community of our species and maybe our pets. But basically what it means is that other than the people that are around you, your family, friends, your extended community, and maybe your dogs and your cats, maybe not so much cats, nobody gives a damn. Nothing gives a damn. You know, the mountains don't care. The sky certainly doesn't care. The outer space would as soon suck your eyeballs out of your head. Even most of the planet Earth is a hostile environment to us and life in general. It's a cold, hostile place out there, the universe. And as you begin to perceive that, and in particularly when you begin to perceive that there is no plan out there, there is no guiding force, no godlike presence that can help us to make decisions and can help us to along the course of life, you get that feeling of emptiness and purposelessness, and maybe a bit of a panic might rise in your heart. You can feel this very easily if you simply step alone out into the wilderness and look around and call out for a friendly hand into the void and hear nothing that comes back. If you do hear something coming back, if you do sense something come back, I suggest that it's coming from in you. You're talking to yourself. If you sense God in the wilderness, you're comforting yourself from within, that it's not really out there. At least there's no evidence that that's the case. So what I would then say is, now I've just painted a pretty bleak picture, right? Well, what the hell? Why carry on if the universe is filled with the great indifference? And why bother? What should I do even if I decide to not? Why bother? Well, that's where it gets interesting. That's where the task rests on your shoulders, and there's two types of, well, and a whole spectrum in between, but two extremes of ways of handling that. In the one case, you can say, to hell with it, I'm going to find someone or something, or I'm going to rest my weary bones upon somewhere where it's all been settled. And this is where people adopt things like religion or particular philosophies or basically convention, social convention, or get themselves simply lost in the details, the minutia of daily living. You know, really get into running or reading books or watching TV or really into work, and it's kind of a distraction from that emptiness out there and that need, and you feel like you filled yourself up with something. Likewise with if you get into religion, then all the answers are there, right? But you just have to set your reason aside and set your good sense aside, so that and adopt it on faith. which is a great sacrifice. And so it's not free. These things are not free. You can get away from that emptiness and fill it with something, but you have to watch out that what you're filling it with isn't counterfeit and equally as void and empty as the emptiness you're trying to run away from. So the challenge that I put to you, and the challenge that I lay out in the Path of Wildness, and actually this video is going to be the first one on a new playlist that I'm creating for the softypapa channel, which will be called the Path of Wildness Meditations, which is, I'm going to start making videos of which I do this anyway. I make daily descriptions of the Path of Wildness, the objectives, 3 objectives, and the 7, not 8, but 7 principles of the Path of Wildness for myself to help me reinforce it and keep myself on the path. And I'm going to turn the engine off. It's going to start heating up. So what you can do, according to the way I see it, is if you're not going to be the one that's going to just adopt someone else's worldview and carry on like that and just live your life with it, distracted from the great indifference, you can set out to build your own meaning. Fill that void with a purpose that is derived from a real need in the world. I mean, like I said, even though there may be no God out there looking after us or caring about us, you sure do have a lot of people around here. You sure do have a lot of animals. You sure do have a lot of plants. In fact, we've got a whole darn planet that, in essence, is relying on us to, at this point, to either die and get out of the way so that the planet can carry on, or to develop some good stewardship and carry on with it. But, you don't have to save the planet. You don't have to save the world, but you can just make the world a better place. And I recommend doing that through living a virtuous life. And I'll make more videos. And in fact, the next video that will come along for this will be the first Path of Wildness meditation, where I'll lay out my 3 principles and my 7. 3 objectives and 7 principles. And maybe that'll help. But that's just the way I laid it out. That was a result of my course through life. I recommend that you do the same. And believe me, life can become quite fulfilling, quite rich, quite full. And even though the emptiness remains, I go out into the wilderness. Now I see it everywhere around me. I don't have to go out in the wilderness anymore. Now that when I encounter it, I say, yes, indeed, the universe stares with, I used to say the empty eyes of a dead corpse, but that's even too much, because corpse implies that there was some life at one time. The emptiness is a cold, hostile place for us humans, but we have one another. We have our planet. We have all the other life forms here. In fact, we have the universe that are out there waiting for us. Let's work together. Let's work within ourselves. Let's develop a good mode of operation, founded on excellent principles, developed of reason, with a recognition of individual human rights, and make the world a better place by virtue of that. So I'll leave you with that. So this is a little bit of a responsive video to you, and congratulations on discovering the great indifference on your own, whatever you want to call it. How you respond to it at this point, how you move on, will make all the difference. My break is over. It's been 8 minutes and 39 seconds. I get 15 minutes. And that's just enough time to get back. I took about 2.5 minutes to get down. Perfect! See y'all later. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.